This is going to be an interesting video. We've got lots of noises going on. We're having a room upstairs plastered. I have the tumble dryer, the washing machine on, and lots of children. We've had a busy couple of days. It was my son's 9th birthday party a couple of days ago, and we are now trying to eat through all of the leftovers from that. As you can see, found a giant bag of nachos. But today in this video I'm going to be showing you my honey halloumi bite burrito recipe. We are going to make homemade wraps. I make all of our wraps. I make my own refried beans, and I've got loads in the freezer, so I'm just going to get them out. So I'm not going to show you that specific recipe. If you would like it, I mean, all I do is I get like my dried beans in bulk from like a local refill kind of place, and I just cook all of these either on my stove or in my pressure cooker, depending on how much time I have, with stock and flavouring. And then the stock that I use to cook it in, I just mash into a paste, and sometimes add like tomato puree and chipotle paste. But that is it. And I use pinto beans normally. These are kidney beans. When I've gone through all of my pinto beans, I'll use my kidney beans, and I use whatever beans I have in, honestly. But what I do is once a month perhaps, I'll make a big batch and then freeze it into portions. So I'm going to get a portion of that out from the freezer. I've got one thing of halloumi. This is just about enough for our family because we have it with rice and refried beans. Joel doesn't really like halloumi that much, so I've got him some sweet chili marinated tofu. Well, I didn't get it for this, I have it in the house and I'm using it for this recipe because I haven't tried it before. It's a marinated one. We're going to see if it's any good. And then you can add in whatever you want into this. We have loads of spreads and dips left over from the party. So we've got like sour creams, garlic and onion dips. Really mister. We've got loads of guacamole and loads of salsa and bits like that. So that's why we decided we're going to make these for dinner. Try and get some of that eaten down before it goes gross. I'll show you how I make my wraps, and then I'm going to show you what I do with the halloumi. Everything else is really up to you. If you make some rice and then add it whatever your toppings. For me, I normally have refried beans, rice, lettuce, halloumi, and then cheese and lots of other sauce. But you can have whatever you want in it. So I'm going to start by chopping up my halloumi and making my marinade for that. First of all, I chop the halloumi into cubes and place it into a bowl, followed by my marinade. Sometimes I mix this previously. I couldn't be bothered today, but it is just the 3 ingredients: olive oil, lemon juice, and normally honey. However, I have loads of maple syrup that I need to use, and it does have the same outcome at the end. I'm not good at measuring. It's roughly about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice or 1 whole lemon juiced, and around 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and or honey. All I do is mix that together and leave that to marinate in my fridge for the day until I'm ready to cook it later. So I got my refried beans out of the freezer. I'm going to defrost these a bit quicker because I forgot to get them out last night, and then make some wraps. I'm going to quickly make some wraps. There's only, including water, 4 ingredients, and the art of wrap making is just that, it is an art, not a science. So you need flour, plain flour I normally use for wraps, oil, salt and water. That is it. I use olive oil. You can use most oils, whatever oils you want. Sometimes I have used ghee if I've got it in, but that's what I'm using for today. And again, I mostly do this by feel now and sight, and I don't follow a recipe so much because I've made so many that I don't need one. But the general thing I do is about 500 grams of flour gets you roughly 8 to 10 wraps depending on your size. So it's roughly 500 grams of flour, a couple of tablespoons of oil, and then normally half the amount of water to the amount of flour you have. So that if you did 500 grams of flour, it's roughly 250 mils of lukewarm water, and then salt to taste. You add a sprinkle of salt within it. So I'm going to do that. However, this time around I've got some sourdough starter, like sourdough discard, that I'm going to add in. I literally just pour in my flour, my oil, put this in and a bit of water and mix it together, and this is just literally sourdough starter, which is just water and flour. So I'm going to add that in too so it doesn't go to waste. That means my measurements aren't going to be what I just said to you earlier, but all I'm going to do is weigh roughly weigh it out, put it in my mixer onto my stand mixer and mix it until it's a dough. Leave it 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes to rest, and then I will show you how I roll it out and cook it. Probably a wetter dough than what I normally have because of all that sourdough discard, but it will be great. I'm going to then normally wrap this either in cling film or you can put it in a tub. I'm going to put it in cling film because I've got a lot of it, but if you don't use that or don't have any, then either put it in a damp tea towel or in a airtight container. Leave that for like 20-ish minutes. I have a chapati pan that I cook all my wraps on. It is the only Teflon thing that I own. I do want to switch to stainless steel or cast iron for wraps, but it's hard because we can't get pans hot enough to be able to cook the wraps. So for the time being, we are using this. It has been very well loved and we use it a lot. So yeah, if you have any flat pan, if you have like a pancake pan, if you have anything flat and big you can easily access, because I use your hands to turn. So that's what we'll be using to cook the wraps on. And then I'm going to divvy up my wrap. You can weigh them to make them even. I don't, I do it by sight and feel, and I'm not fussed about them being perfect. Joel, however, loves wraps being perfect, so when he makes them and rolls them out, they look a lot better than when I do it. You will see mine are a right mess, but they taste good and they get the job done. I have a plate I can put them onto once I've cooked them, and then what we do is I've got my dough. Gonna, of course, always flour your work surface so not everything sticks, and it makes your life a bit easier. And then I divvy this up into 8. So I cut the dough in half, and then I cut the half in half again, and then the quarter in half again. And I do this for each quarter, so I get 8 parts altogether. And then I just roll them into little balls to make it easier to roll out into wraps. And one by one, I'm going to roll them out. This dough was extra stretchy because, again, like I told you, I put the sourdough in, but I stretch it all out, half with the rolling pin and half with my hands. The more you work with dough, the more you'll get used to doing what I'm doing here, where you kind of pull and stretch with your hands. It is just practice makes perfect. It's one of those times where actually the more you do it, the easier it will become. You want your pan, whatever you're using, on your biggest burner and on your highest heat. While we're rolling them up, heat that up a bit, and then we are going to go, once this is hot enough, it doesn't need very long on either side, and while I'm cooking this one, I'm slowly going back and forth, rolling out the next one. That dough is on a pan, you leave it for probably about 30 seconds until it starts to bubble, and then you literally just with your hands flip it to the other side, and again it's normally around another 30 seconds. If it takes longer than that, then you probably haven't got your heat up enough, and if it takes less than that, then your heat is probably too high and it's going to burn, and you want to make sure it is cooked in the middle. So they only normally need about a minute on both sides. If it's longer, that is fine. It's probably best to have it take a bit longer than be too quick, because there's one that I forgot, I didn't get to filming, I ran out of room on my memory card, but there was some burn on it because the pan had got too hot. Right, got a heated pan. I don't have much charge. I'm just gonna put in some oil, and then we're going to put in the halloumi and watch it do its thing. And then we are literally just going to cook this down and flip it every now and then to make sure it doesn't stick until it goes nice and crispy. You can see now it's been 7 minutes maybe, and they're starting to crisp up nicely. And I've also got the rice on. This is kind of where I'm going to leave it. Some bits are crispier than others. I am not a perfectionist when it comes to cooking. I'm like, sometimes people bored you. Got the homemade wraps, lettuce with some random broccoli that Joel must have put in there, we'll eat that. Some cheese, the tofu, the halloumi, the rice just steaming in there. The refried beans, if you want a recipe for that or want me to show you how to make it, then let me know down below. And then we're not normally this heavy on the dips, but because we had a party at our house a couple of days ago, we got to get all these used, and then we also have the leftover bag of tortillas. So this is our meal. We chop and change things. We don't always have this much, but we've got my sister coming for dinner as well, and we will have leftovers for a couple of days too. And yeah, the kids love this. They'll get to make their own, and they might add ketchup as well, but we'll see. Really, it looks like a really difficult dinner, but it's actually really easy because it's a lot of leftovers and things that I can whip together really quickly. You've seen me make it bit by bit. I normally make it, because I'm filming it, I normally make it in one big go. So like, I'll be making the wraps, that and the rice all together. Everything else is already pre-made normally. And then we add in some sauce. I'll show you my burrito once I've made it, I guess. You need more than that, buddy.
I don't really like these.
Okay, let's go through. There's refried beans.
There you go. Have some of that.
Oh, buddy. Right. Do you want some refried beans? Do you want some sauces? We've got rice in there. There's quite a lot. You just can't see for the lettuce. Do you want some cheese? Do you want some of the guacamole?
No thanks.
That's what you want. Rice, a little bit of tofu.
Yeah.
And lettuce. Okay. What about a bit properly?
You want cheese. What else? Do you want some tofu in there?
Yeah,
but I want that type. And this type.
How's your broccoli salt there?
Yummy, yummy. Is it yummy?
Cheese and ketchup. Do you want some? You need something else in there as well.
Might be too bad.
Lettuce?
No.
No. Do you want some of this mashed up beans? Can you do some ketchup? And I'll make a wrap.
You don't want to try any of the other sauces at the saucy. I love the sauce.
Where's the lamb sauce?
We've got to save some halloumi for Auntie Karis.
Right.
Can you have too much cheese in a burrito is the question. Never. Never. Guacamole. Holy guacamole. Wait, is it holy guacamole? No. Holy guacamole. That's what it is. What are the different flavours of these dips? And I don't really...
So you got muamara.
Let me know down below if you try this recipe, and give me some more ideas of other recipes you'd like me to show you and other videos you want. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I will see you in my next, whether it is frugal living or recipes. I've got more coming at you. So have a great day and bye, friends.